Hey guys, what is going on? So just wanted to update you on a couple things in terms of, my weight loss, strength numbers, huge supplements. I started taking a couple of those. So I will just get into that. So first one, obviously, huge supplements. This is something I've been getting a few questions on because a lot of you guys actually ended up buying from them in the last week or so. And, I've been taking mine, I think, since Saturday. So I'm taking the Ecdysterone, which I was already taking Ecdysterone, but I switched to huge as opposed to Muscle Empire. So I've been taking that since I think Saturday. And then the Ecdysterone as well, which is a new addition. That is something that I haven't done before. So my thought, my theory is that the cyclodextrin is going to improve the bioavailability of the Ecdysterone, which, theoretically should lead to better results. And then the epicatechin is a myostatin inhibitor. And so both of those things combined, I think, should be beneficial. Now, one thing to keep in mind is obviously I am on a cut. So even maintaining muscle or maintaining strength is, something that's really good for a lot of people when they're on a cut. I personally have found that I don't feel like I've lost, any size or strength. So I can credit that to Ecdysterone. But if we start to see like an increase in muscle mass, I think we'll know where it's from being, both those supplements I'm taking from Huge. So only have been taking them for however many days, 4 or 5 days, whatever that is. So nothing to report in terms of like any drastic changes. I think it'll take some time to really take effect. When I started taking Terkesterone, it took me an entire month before I noticed anything. So guys got to be patient, not only patient for my results, but I know a bunch of you guys got a bunch of things from Huge, whether that's Ecdysterone or a couple of the other things that they offer. They offer a whole bunch of different, natural anabolic stuff. Epicatechin, for example, is, beneficial in terms of myostatin, which is really what's killing naturals in terms of building more muscle over time. So I would say just be patient, guys, for your own results as well. The placebo effect is strong, so you might notice something in the first week or two, but realistically, I think you're going to see the best results with continued usage, and I think that's the case for me. So in terms of my weight number, 218 this morning, which is the lowest I've been throughout all of 2021. And there was a very brief period where I got off creatine in 2020 where I dropped to 217, I think. So if you factor in that I'm, on creatine, this is the lowest I've weighed since 2019. So I would also say I'm significantly stronger in terms of the numbers that I'm putting up. One thing that I've noticed is I've had a big emphasis on building strength off the chest with my bench press because I've always kind of been a little bit more tricep dominant. I usually fail pretty early in the lift. And my chest strength has like exploded from where it was at in the past, but my tricep strength is not quite where it used to be. So I have been, as opposed to doing my normal kind of programming, I noticed I was doing wide grip bench and close grip bench, and my wide grip like exploded, which is a little bit more chest dominant. It was way higher. I didn't even test what my max was. I was doing sets of 5, and I noticed I added, I think, like 30 pounds to it, and I was still able to complete all my sets. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. But in that same workout, I was not able to complete my former. I was able to do, I can't remember if it was 265 or 275, but I was doing those for a 5x5 with no leg drive. And usually, triceps have been a strong point for me, and I wasn't even able to get where I was at before, which is interesting because I've added a good amount of size to my triceps. So that just tells me that I have done a lot of hypertrophy work, which is really just kind of slow movements. I'm not used to executing those lifts in a, really quick fashion. And considering I built so much strength off of my chest and the explosion is coming from there, by the time I get to the midpoint of the lift, I don't have as much strain on my triceps. So they really have not been challenged for a long time as I've been building, the size and strength in my chest and my shoulders as well. So I'm doing band work now. I'm doing a ton of band work. That's something that I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future because, like I said, my chest strength has exploded. My tricep strength has actually regressed, even though I've increased the size of my triceps. So it's just going to be a lot of explosive work, a lot of strength work, close grip bench press. Eventually, I'm going to start doing some pin presses, maybe halfway up, maybe do some floor presses, stuff like that, because that's something that I've done in the past that really built up my tricep strength. And now that I haven't been doing it, obviously, that strength isn't there. So very excited about that, because, building a weak point is very good. And considering my old strong point is now my weak point, I know that I can go back. I know the exact exercises I need to do to improve that tricep strength. And usually strength is achieved relatively quickly compared to hypertrophy, especially when you have already built that muscle. So very excited about that. And I think, like I said, I'll be hitting some PRs soon, but I did have to change up my programming a bit to get to that point. So my weight, like I said, 218, which is the lowest I've been for a long time. Couple things to keep in mind. I have been going lower carb, meaning obviously I would weigh a little bit less considering I'm intaking less carbs. And for that reason, I don't really feel comfortable doing body scans quite yet, because I'm lowering my carbs for as long as I can bear, basically. Like I'm basically saying I want to lower my carbs, burn this fat, and then when I can't take it anymore, then I'll up my carbs back to a little bit more of a kind of medium level, which is something that I've done recently. I've brought them back up a little bit, but they're still not nearly as high as I've kind of consistently had them. So the fact that I'm 218 doesn't necessarily mean that I'm like crazy lean right now. It just means that I probably lost a little bit of weight due to lack of carb intake. But, I have consistently been able to, I've lost around 4 pounds since I started doing it. So when I was 222, I had already lowered my carbs at that point, and I've basically just been melting weight. I've noticed my waist is getting smaller, so I'm definitely losing fat while dropping my carbs. So I'm just trying to sustain this for as long as I can. And then once I bring my carbs back up, then I will do a body scan, because I just don't think it would be accurate to do a body scan right now when I'm not high in carbs, when every other body scan I've ever done has always been high carbs, because I've always been very big on my carb intake. So those are the updates there. Again, I do not have a body scan for that reason, but strength appears to be pretty much at an all-time high across the board, except maybe, well, at least in terms of upper body, except my triceps seem to be lacking, which is going to be my emphasis here in the coming weeks. Haven't really been focusing on legs, if I'm going to be honest. Not having carbs in my system makes it really tough to do legs, and I hate doing it. So I still do them, but I'm really, at this point, I'm like, I don't really care all that much. I'm just doing what I can to maintain what I built. And so, I'm going to continue to do that. Focus primarily on bench press. Hopefully at some point I can hit a OHP PR, but bench press seems like it's there. I just got to get the triceps back to firing correctly. So things are going really good overall. Losing weight, getting stronger, and over the past few days, my workouts have been good on huge supplements. I feel like I'm getting leaner every single day. So the cut is definitely not difficult, and I think a lot of that is beneficial in terms of Ecdysterone. So if you want to try any of those brands out, Muscle Empire, as far as I know, is still sold out on HR Supplements, which is where I would recommend if you want to get the best price. I checked Amazon the other day, and they upped their price again to $65. So basically, the only reason you would buy on Amazon is either you're getting a different price than I'm getting, or you're just really impatient and you want the capsules. But you can still get the powder on HR Supplements. I would not recommend that, but if you are impatient, maybe you could do that. That's definitely more cost effective than doing like the 60 cap, which is available on Amazon, but I think it's like $35 for 60. So you can get, if you use like the discounts and stuff for HR, I think you can get a 180 count for 45. So why would you buy 60 count for 35? I don't know, but to each their own. So that's Muscle Empire. We already know Muscle Empire is good. Huge Supplements is kind of, a step above. They have the cyclodextrin, which is what makes, in my opinion, testosterone so much more effective relative to the dosage that it has. And it's actually a pretty good price considering the complex that they have. And then obviously, if you use code Cooper, that'll save you another 10%. But I can't vouch for Huge Supplements yet. So far, my workouts have been going great since I've been on it. But like I said, I think it's going to take some time. So not ready to recommend that brand quite yet, but so far things do seem promising. I know a lot of you guys are trying it, so I'm going to be able to get a lot of feedback in that regard. And then HR supplements, I can, or excuse me, Muscle Empire is something that I can definitely say works for a lot of people, worked for me. And it's a cheap alternative if you don't want to go the huge supplement route, or if you don't want to wait for Derek to restock 5 years from now. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll keep you updated, and I'll talk to you soon.